The spring theater season arrives with a plethora of plays, and our panel of experts join us to talk trends, surprises, and must-sees on this episode of Theater All the Moving Parts. Welcome, I'm Patrick Pacheco. The spring theater season is in motion, and today we turn our focus to plays on Broadway and off. In the second part of our spring preview, we are once again joined by our distinguished panel of theater experts. Diep Tran, editor-in-chief at Playbill, Adam Feldman, chief theater critic at Time Out New York, and Jesse Green, culture correspondent for the New York Times. Welcome to you all.
Hiya.
So, plays. Daniel Radcliffe is back on Broadway, and I admire the way that he's made such a commitment to theater. He's back this time in a solo show called Every Brilliant Thing.
Well, solo-ish.
Solo-ish.
Yes.
Oh, right.
That's
yes,
true.
explain
Yes.
why it's solo-ish, Deep.
The play is by Duncan Macmillan and Johnny Donahue. It's been around for over a decade, where it's about a man whose mother tries to commit suicide, and to try to get her to want to live, he creates a list of everything that's wonderful about the world. And the play is also about his life and how he negotiates depression himself. And so Daniel Radcliffe will play Duncan, actually. And the funny thing about it is there's a lot of audience participation.
But not the bad kind.
Not the bad kind. I mean, granted, if Daniel Radcliffe comes up to you and talks to you, I feel like you're in
That's
a very
not bad.
Yeah, that's what you're paying money for.
But they're not trying to make you dance or
No, but
take
you
off
do have to play characters in Duncan's life. So if you have aspirations to want to share a stage with Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, I was going to say, this is a good time to add that when this show was first in New York in 2014 at the Battle Street Theater, where it was staged in a very intimate way, I was called upon to play, I believe, a veterinarian. And Ben Brantley in the New York Times called my performance inspired.
Audience members play various roles in the story of this boy who grows up during the course of the show, including famously a veterinarian, a psychiatrist, an academic, and various
and
his
also
lover.
his father, his wife.
Or if he chooses a male audience member, his husband or lover. It's all up to the actor playing the central role, who is going to get cast from the audience and what they're going to do. He gives them tips about it, and and you're not left to flounder. But when I saw it, what amazed me was that everybody in the audience was excellent.
This next play, when I heard about it, I thought it was the Elizabeth Taylor movie or some kind of stage version of it. It is not. Giant is, in fact, a play by Mark Rosenblatt. And it is an explosive play. It comes from the West End. It's directed by Nick Heitner. It was a tremendous success. It won 3 Oliviers, including Best Play. Jesse, what is it about that is so explosive?
Well, it's about the amazing children's book author Roald Dahl, who was celebrated in England and around the world for books like James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and in Big Friendly Giant, BFG, from which this play takes its name in part, and who was also something of a monster. Not unlike his books, the whole question of this play is, when is evil really evil, when is it not? So, to be more specific, it meets him, and this is the character, this is Roald Dahl, played by John Lithgow, at a moment when he has written a response to a book that has been published in the newspaper, in which he basically makes the claim that Israel as a state should not exist, and no Jew should support Israel, and all Jews support Israel. So it is both anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic. The play concerns the efforts of his publishers to get him to retract the statement. His publisher is the son of a Holocaust survivor. And the American publisher's representative, who has supposedly been sent also to cajole him so that he doesn't lose American sales, is herself Jewish. It's a little bit overdetermined in that way. Neither of those things was quite true in reality, but what he wrote was true.
The book itself that he writes the review about is about the invasion by Israel of
Lebanon. And the killing of many, well, obviously, of many innocent victims, including many children.
And there are so many parallels, again, to
Yes.
Israel and Gaza.
It's hair-raising.
I mean,
Reading the script is hair-raising because, I mean, for one thing, as you say, it feels like somebody wrote a play yesterday, but it also feels universal and permanent. And but particularly about, you know, what are cancelable offenses today? When do you stand your ground with an unpopular opinion, and when is an unpopular opinion horrendous and not supportable by anyone? Even a great talent, even someone recognized as an amazing talent.
And
But it's
all
also,
about, go ahead.
and what's also interesting to me, is especially John Lithgow of it all, who is playing Dumbledore in the new Harry Potter series by another very problematic author, J.K. Rowling. I feel like Giant probably talks about, like, can we enjoy someone's art even though they're a terrible person?
Yes.
Right.
And he has a wife, or a soon-to-be wife, shockingly, and she has to kind of sort that out as well, not just in the way that you're saying, but also in terms of being in a relationship with someone like that.
Well, and it's also, the thing about Roald Dahl's work is that part of what makes it great is this streak of nastiness that is in it. The books are often very punitive of the characters of whom Roald Dahl disapproves. And of course, he also wrote stories that were not for children, that were for adults, some of which are really quite wicked and have really nasty twists. There's one memorable one involving mutton. I believe, and another involving bees. I think that there's a lot there to unpack.
And Lithgow did win the Olivier, as well as the play winning Best Play. I think that talk about plays that are going to keep you talking and conversing all through supper after the play, and probably before.
I agree.
Another one that's very promising as well is Dog Day Afternoon. A lot of people remember it from the Sidney Lumet 1975 film starring Al Pacino as Sandy Wartzik, a person who robs a New York City bank in order to fund the trans operation of his boyfriend. Girlfriend, I suppose, yes.
Wait, are you speaking politically, or are you?
I'm speaking politically.
In the movie.
Yeah, she's a trans woman.
She's a trans woman, and she lived as a trans woman later.
I'm misremembering it. I thought it was.
Well, it was played by Chris Sarandon in the movie, and it was much more male presenting. I imagine in this production that they will emphasize more of a modern conception. I don't know.
Oh, and they also cast someone who is gender non-conforming.
There's nobody better suited to adapt it than Stephen Adly Guirgis, I think. I think he's actually the perfect writer.
In the movie, it's Al Pacino and John Cazale, two of the great actors of the 1970s cinema, as the bank robbers. Here, it's two actors who also have a relationship. They are both co-stars of The Bear, is John Bernthal and Eben Moss-Bachrach, and they are, going to be trying to make those parts new for them again.
Playbill did run an article about an interview with Stephen Adly Guirgis where he said he wanted to emphasize more of the love story between character formerly played by Al Pacino and his lover. So the film was more about the relationships between these two straight men, and so Stephen is going to more emphasize the relationship between John Bernthal's character and his lover, and I think really update it for 2026, because why would we be watching this story otherwise?
Talking about writers earlier, about writers who write wicked stories, somebody who wrote a rather wicked play about relationships was Gina Gianfrido. Becky Shaw did play off-Broadway, is now on Broadway. It sounds like a doozy of a dating experience for the characters involved. Who saw it off-Broadway?
I did.
Oh, please, tell us.
Well, I enjoyed it very much, and it was a Pulitzer Prize finalist, I think, in 2009 or 2010. One thing that I really like about recent Broadway seasons is there's been a consistent trend towards rediscovering off-Broadway plays that are from the 21st century, that had not quite made it to Broadway in some way, or for the past 30 years. And we're seeing more of those.
Like Marjorie Prime.
Like Marjorie Prime, like Bug, like, Appropriate. So we're seeing a bunch of these projects, and I think that's a lovely transition. Mary Jane was another one. I think that's great. These shows that formerly were sort of ghettoized into these smaller spaces are now getting a chance to shine for larger audiences. And this is a really good one. It's very entertaining.
I don't remember the exact shape of the plot, but it is a kind of a disastrous dating story, and everybody ends up in a bad way. It's somewhat based on the Thackeray novel Vanity Fair.
Really?
For those of you Thackeray lovers out there. And Becky Shaw being the name of the character in that novel.
Do we know anything about the cast?
Yes.
Has it been cast? Yes,
Yes,
please.
Madeline Brewer plays, I believe, the girl who goes on the bad date.
The title character.
The title character, and Tony Winner Lauren Patton is playing her friend, and which Lauren hasn't really done many plays. Like, she's mainly known for doing musicals, and so I'm really interested to see like how these two actors play off each other, because they have very powerful presence.
I just want to say that, to Adam's point, Second Stage, whose name comes from its original mission, which was to do just what you said, but has more often not done it in recent years, it seems to be returning to that really valuable service to the theater.
Yeah. And of course, their main venue on Broadway is the Helen Hayes Theater, formerly the Little Theater. It's the smallest theater on Broadway. And so you can have still a sense of those kind of intimate plays still coming across within that space while also being in a substantially larger.
The next play that we're going to discuss is a great 1949 classic by Arthur Miller. And it stars Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf, who was brilliant in Little Bear Ridge Road, which didn't have the run it deserved.
Agreed.
For sure. It's being directed by Joe Mantello, a revival of Death of a Salesman.
This is the sixth revival.
I think it's because Nathan Lane probably said, I want to play Lily.
I mean, I think
Willie
both
Loman.
of them wanted
Yeah.
to do
Yeah,
it
and they've
together.
been talking
They've been
about it-
rubbling about it before
Yeah.
the pandemic
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Scott Rudin.
What do you think they will add to this one?
Well, judging from Little Bear Ridge Road and other things we've seen each of these fine actors in, I can hardly imagine it, but I imagine it'll be funnier than usual. She in particular, well, both of them have this amazing ability to, even within the confines of a kind of tragic story, well, very much tragic in this case, but to find the actual way people behave, which is often with humor, even while doing terrible things. And I wonder if that's going to be part of it.
The kids are Christopher Abbott and Ben Allen from
The
Alex
Gilded
from
Age.
I mean, Joe Mantello, wonderful director. These two actors, as you say, two of the most masterful stage
How
comedians of the
credibly
time.
did Nathan Lane do in Iceman Cometh, in your opinion?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I think he's really in a dramatic stage in his career. He hasn't really done a musical in a long time. The last play he did on Broadway was Pictures from Home, where he played, where it was also a very dramatic play. And so I think like he's really trying to show people he's not just a man who can tell a good joke.
But he never lets go of the ability to entertain. I mean, I don't mean that in a slighting way. I just
No, in fact, that's the first duty. I think
Right.
even Arthur Miller would say that's the first duty of a playwright.
Attention will be
entertain.
paid,
He was very
right?
funny at times in Angels in America, and Lord knows Tony Kushner wrote jokes into that character
Right.
to make that possible for the actors.
Dial the f***ing number, or I'll strangle myself with the phone cord. 202 733 8525. Oh.
I think there's something maybe, Nathan Lane has always had this, often had this kind of, when he's playing straight characters, he often has this kind of flustered, Jackie Gleason-ish quality sometimes, everyman-ish, slow burn. So I think that can work maybe as the flip side of the bluster or as an underside to the bluster that Willie Loman has.
For all you triskaidekaphobiacs, I don't know if you're going to. I don't know if
my
that's
goodness.
going to
Fear of
keep you
third
from.
second.
Our second phobia reference.
If that's going to keep you from the title of our next play, which is Fear of 13, another Olivier-nominated play of last season that marks the Broadway debut of Adrien Brody, who was also nominated for an Olivier and went up against John Lithgow, who won.
And of Tessa Thompson also.
It's the fascinating story of a real-life character, Nick Yaris, who got stopped by a cop, which led to a 22-year sentenced for murder and then appealed to the judge not to be released but to be executed.
Well, I think the important thing is that he was ultimately exonerated.
It's a true story.
I believe Project Innocence is involved with presenting this. So it's part of this larger educational program that groups like this have been involved in to call attention to miscarriages of justice that are being slowly teased out now that we have better DNA evidence testing, for example, and other things that can actually exonerate people who have been falsely accused. So this is, it should be a good role for Adrien Brody, for two-time Oscar winner Adrien Brody.
Coming for his Tony Award.
Do you have any thoughts on it, Diep?
And what's really interesting to me is actually the person who's adapting it, who's Lindsay Ferrantino, who, if you saw The Queen of Versailles, she wrote the book for that.
Interesting.
Which had varying degrees of success, depending on who you talk to. But I know Lindsay from Off-Broadway for her play Ugly Liza Bone, which is a very intense play about an Iraq war veteran. So I think this show will actually show what she's actually capable of and kind of maybe redeem her.
I mean, you would not have this play coming in without those names. And I'm interested in seeing both of those people on stage.
Something that won't be a surprise because it's been done all over the country and perhaps all over the world, and that is the revival of Proof, David Auburn's Pulitzer Prize-winning 2000 play. What do you think about its return?
It's a bit of a surprise that it hasn't been done before now. It was such a huge hit 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny
and it's a
forehand.
small, right, it plays really well. Io Debery is playing the Mary Louise Parker role.
So the bear's all over.
Yeah, so
yes,
spring
all
Broadway
there all the
season.
time.
Let's find out where they go after the show to eat.
Don't give me story ideas. Oh my God.
But she's a terrific actor. She hosted Saturday Night Live last year, and I thought she was just tremendous in that too. So she has live performance skills, which some people don't always have.
Don Cheadle plays the father.
Don Cheadle, in his Broadway debut, is playing the father. No spoilers, but a mathematician father, who's and his daughter, who's also a mathematician. John Cheadle, I saw off-Broadway in Top Dog Underdog, which he was wonderful in with Jeffrey Wright.
In another
Making it more
play that was
colorful.
imagined and written for white actors and is now being played by black actors, something we're, I think, gladly seeing a lot more of. And I hope by now nobody is going to get all puffed up about it and worried about it.
And directed by Tommy Kail. Who's certainly-
Hamilton.
Yeah.
By black actors and one Asian actor, I think.
Is that right?
yeah,
I think
Jin
the
Ha.
boyfriend.
Yeah, Jin Ha plays the boyfriend.
Oh, Jin Ha.
Yeah, Jin Ha
wow.
from M. Butterfly, wonderful.
Going to the 1920s, and Noel Coward, Fallen Angels, which I
Yes.
don't know much about. I've never seen a production of it. It was scandalous at the time.
Sex
Was-
comedy.
It's this, so it's very early Coward, very early, kind of Wildian a little bit. It's about two women who are anticipating a visit from a man each of them had been lovers with before their marriages.
Right.
And the husbands being, ooh, what is happening here? And it's teased along for 3 acts. And brittle and funny is what I can tell you.
And the stars are very appealing.
Basically.
Very
Rose
appealing.
Byrne and Kelly
Kelly
O'Hara.
O'Hara.
Can't wait. Hair fight.
Directed by Scott Ellis.
I'm excited to see both of those actors whom I like very much. And one thing that's nice about Kelly O'Hara's career is I think that a lot of people, when she was younger and doing musicals in the aughts, a lot of people, I think myself included, kind of assumed that she was a pretty young thing, with beautiful voice, and didn't know if she had the range to sustain a longer career as an actor. And I think she's certainly proved those people, including me, wrong.
I mean, no one plays like an uptight woman living in mid-century America, early 20th century America like Kelly O'Hara.
Another appealing play by David Lindsay Abaire, one of my favorite playwrights.
The Balusters.
And the defining line about it doesn't sound that dramatic. It's about the idea that this community, this
HOA.
association,
It's an
right,
HOA.
has to deal with a stop sign being put.
Sorry, I live in a co-op, so that concept for a play is very funny to me.
Triggering.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Eureka Day, which
Yes,
is
Yeah.
exactly.
likewise about a community, in this case, a community of a private school in California, in the case of Eureka Day,
And maybe a little bit the minutes, the Tracy Letts, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
plays about bureaucracies going crazy and undermining themselves and the world, and kind of
And turning on each other.
kind of as a microcosm for what some people may
If
see
you ever
as-
lived in an HOA, that
Yes.
feels very familiar.
So it doesn't seem like fiction to you. Is
No,
what you're saying.
it's when people who don't have power get a little bit of it because they're running their, their neighborhood association, and they get to control their neighbors. Like, they go a little bit crazy.
Are you speaking from experience?
No, I'm talking about the play and maybe real life.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like it's probably going to be a comedy, although I imagine a dark comedy because David Lindsay-Abaire can really straddle that line and has done many times. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And this is actually a world premiere, so none of us have seen it before.
Yeah.
It's just David Lindsay-Abaire won a Tony Award for Kimberly Akimbo, the musical. And so this is his return, and whenever, he's one of those writers where whenever he has something new on stage, like, you have to go.
Another revival, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, the beautiful, poetic 1988 play, by August Wilson, is back. Who stars in it, Diep?
Taraji P. Henson, I believe Broadway debut as an actor, though she's been producing quite a bit of stuff on Broadway, and Cedric the Entertainer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Directed by legendary Debbie Allen.
Oh, interesting.
This is part of the famous August Wilson century play sequence. This is the 1910s. Of course, it wasn't written then, but it was, I think, the third one he wrote, but it was one of the earliest in the group, and concerns a boarding house run by the characters played, as Diep mentioned. There is a kind of mysterious man who comes to live.
Harold Loomis.
Harold Loomis. And it's a beautiful play. Anytime August Wilson is going to be on Broadway, that's something to celebrate.
And anytime Wallace Shawn is off-Broadway is something to celebrate.
His shows are very, very hard. They're very mean.
And there are two plays in rep.
Well, yeah, so he has a new play, what we did before
In
our
our
Moth
Moth.
days.
Right.
And, it's funny because Wallace Shawn is known to the mass public as a cuddly, small, bald, adorable character actor.
Inconceivable.
From Princess Bride and many other things. He's instantly recognizable. And so people have this idea of him as adorable, but he writes actually these extremely cutting, highly critical plays, critical of the sort of New York liberal intellectual culture that he grew up in. And he has another play called The Fever, that is a monologue that he used to perform in people's living rooms, rich people's living rooms, as it's a hard critique of consumer privilege, of capitalist first world privilege. And he's going to be performing that on Monday and Sunday nights during the run of this new play.
I mean, the Moth Days is remarkable because it's an explosive family drama in which he sort of posits that we're all bond-strapped domestic terrorists within our families, in which we could explode any day in these kind of psychological tantrums.
So this play does not have any overt political element in the way that the ones you're talking about, and The Fever certainly do. But to the question of examining privilege, and is it possible to be good in a world that is not good, which seems to be his theme universally, he sort of turns that frightening, useful spotlight onto the family and finds some of the same kinds of dynamics going on there that he frequently dissected.
And the cast, it's a cast of four: Josh Hamilton, Hope Davis, Maria Dizia, and John Early, who's hilarious as the child.
We have to wrap up, but before, in a lightning round, I'd like to know what you're most looking forward to.
Yes, well, I'm looking forward to seeing something I saw last year and afterwards I was just sobbing in the theater, which really doesn't happen that often, but I was going through some things. It's called Rheology. It's playing at Playwrights Horizons. It's a remount of a show that ran Off-Broadway in Bushwick. It was so good, and so I'm too glad it's coming back. So it's by Shayuk Misha Choudhury, and he wrote it with his mother. And and he's performing it with his mother, and it's about them going through what it will be like when she dies.
Wow.
And so it's funny, it's touching, and if you are a child and you're going through some things with your parents and their mortality, you will sob in the theater like I did and the person next to me.
Wow.
Well, one show that I'm really looking forward to is very much on the same themes. It's called You Got Older. It is also a show that made me cry in 2014 when it was playing downtown at Here, I think. It is by Claire Barron, who also wrote Dance Nation and other plays. I loved this play so much. It did make me cry. I'm so glad that it's coming back and people are going to be able to see it. This new revival will star Alia Shawkat from Arrested Development and Search Party, and Peter Friedman from many things on Broadway and off, but also more recently from Succession. So that's something that I saw about 10 years ago, was deeply moved by, and I'm very much interested in seeing it again.
Is there a play that made you cry?
Pretty much every play makes me cry for one reason or another. But I'm looking forward to, as we've discussed, the play that is most likely to make What Hair I Have stand on end, and that's Giant. I really want to see what it feels like being an American Jew who is dealing with these very issues uncomfortably and unhappily. What happens in the theater? We don't usually get things that are of this second, and I want to feel it, and I want to see what it does to people and what the talk is.
My hair will be standing on end with you in the theater because I share that. I can hardly wait to see this play, written by an English Jew, I believe.
Yes.
So we have to wrap up, but I must say, I'm looking forward to so many of the things that we discussed.
Yeah, the best play category will be competitive this year.
Thanks so much to our guests, and thank you for watching. We look forward to bringing you more fascinating conversations with the fearless artists and writers shaping theater in an ever-changing marketplace. Download the CUNY TV app or find us on YouTube to watch all of our shows. I'm Patrick Pacheco, and we'll see you next time when the curtain rises on Theater All the Moving Parts.